How's it going, folks? Taya Wachowski here. I often get the question about what I think about dog parks. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they dangerous? Is it a good way for dogs to socialize? Is it really for the dogs or maybe just for the people? My answer to that is always that it just depends. Depends on the people, those individuals, their dogs, the other people in the environment itself, how those other dogs will react to your dog, how your dog may react in response to the other dogs, how they will all respond with each other and interact with each other. Are the other people in the park responsible, and will they look after their dogs and what their dogs do? Are you responsible? Are you a responsible owner who will look after your own dog? Personally, I don't go to dog parks because I don't trust it. I don't trust the other people or the other dogs, and nothing against them, nothing personal. I just like to keep it honest with myself in a safe environment. Too many times have I been around people who aren't even in a dog park. They're in a people park. They let their dogs go. They think it's a dog park. It's open fencing, their dogs are off leash, they're running around, they get into our business, into our space and cause troubles. So for me, I don't go to dog parks. I think they're too dangerous. A lot of the people there don't pay attention to their dog enough. Fights will break out with 10 and plus dogs and nobody does anything about it. They sit there. A lot of times people who go to dog parks, again, nothing personal, they think they're there to socialize with other people, which is fine, but when you're there, you have an animal with a mind of its own who has the potential to cause damage to other animals or people. You need to take that responsibility to pay attention to your own dog. You know how they will react to other dogs. You know how your dog does with other dogs. Although some people try to deny that and say their dog is totally friendly with everyone else and they love them. The second they're off leash, go straight for that little poodle over there, pin it down to the ground, get into a little fight, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I know my dog doesn't like rude dogs. He doesn't like dogs getting in his face, so he will correct them. I know this. I inform people of this. If their dog is off leash and they come into my space, I let them know. My dog will bite yours. Now, I don't have 30 seconds to a minute, minimum, to explain to them that Adonis is not being aggressive, he's not being mean, he's not being dumb or stupid or jealous of the other dog. He's telling this other dog, you're coming into my space. I'm tethered by a leash. I'm a person. I cannot get away. I can't get around you. I am excited. I have the opposition reflex and fight and flight going on, and I need you to back up. And most of the dogs who are off leash don't listen to that. They're little jerks, but they're just being dogs. They're not really jerks. They're not being mean. They're coming up to see this dog who is tethered. Dogs who are not tethered come up to a dog who is tethered, whether the dog is tethered on a leash connected to a human, or they're connected to a tree, or a pole outside in the backyard, or anywhere else. If a dog is loose and they see this little animal who cannot get their own release from pressure, oncoming pressure, they're going to go check them out. They're going to see, hey, what's going on? Maybe I can bully you. Maybe I can push you around. Again, they're just being animals. That's just what they do. For me, I try to stay away from other dogs that I feel are not in control or under control of their person. If there's a person that's just walking around, texting, talking to their friends, and their dog is running around loose and able to do whatever they want, I stay far away from them and their dog. If I am minding my own business and that dog comes up to me, either Adonis will correct the dog or I will. I will scare them away to get them away from me. So I definitely don't go to dog parks. For people that go to dog parks, it's totally fine. If they choose to go there, then they should know the risks that something may happen. A dog fight may break out. Their dog may be injured. Their dog may be causing the injuries to other dogs. When you go there, you take liability and responsibility for what happens if your dog gets into a fight. So if you're someone who likes to take your dog to the dog park, by all means, go for it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that something is going to happen. I'm just trying to inform you that a lot of things can happen, especially with animals, very quickly, and we do not have the timing to stop it or correct it or jump in the way of. You never want to jump into the middle of a dog fight. So some pros and cons about dog parks. We'll start with the pros. Pros can be, it is a good way for your dog to get exercise. Your dog can run around, they can play fetch, play with other dogs that are friendly, of equal size and weight. Your dog is free to run around, be free, be a dog. I know a lot of people do that. They do take their dog to the dog park to play with other dogs, get rowdy and tussle around and have fun and get extra energy out, and that's totally fine. Some of the cons to dog parks, personally speaking, I'm going to find a lot more cons than pros, but that's just my opinion. Some of the cons for going to a dog park are the people don't look after their dogs. People don't pick up after the dogs. They bring highly agitated dogs or very high energy dogs there that began to bully all the other dogs. A dog park can be very intimidating to any dog. Personally speaking, if I take Adonis to a dog park, he's immediately shuts down. He gets very intimidated by all the other smells and dogs, and he's agitated and he wants to be protective of himself and he's defensive, and I don't blame him. So that can be the mindset of a lot of dogs that go out to dog parks. For those dogs that are very sociable, that really like to meet other dogs, they have no problem with them, then great. But be aware that they can still get in trouble from other dogs who are not so sociable. So that's a major concern. When people come to the dog park, they think they know their dog when they really don't, and they go off to do their own thing. They go and read, they get a little chair, they sit down, set up their own little thing, they're in their own world, and their dog is out there to play. They're not necessarily keeping an eye on their dog, or at least a close enough eye for what I would prefer. And their dog may get into a fight, into a scuffle, may start bullying other dogs, may become aggressive over protecting toys or even a stick or a nasty old tennis ball that's left there. A lot of the owners there are just as rude as their dogs. Story time. I was living in Colorado for a short period of time a few years back. There was a little dog park, actually a very nice big dog park, just down the street from the apartment I lived in. So I took Adonis there occasionally to go in, usually walk around the inside of the fenced area. I kept him on leash, and we just walked around and had fun. One day I was there with some family with their dog. Their dog was running around having a blast. It was very busy, and Adonis, being on leash, stayed with me. We were walking around checking out other dogs, and another dog comes up to him. This dog is off leash. They're about half the size of Adonis. A little terrier blend, not sure what they were, but they, being a terrier, they like to boss the dogs around. He came up to Adonis, he started barking at him, getting in his face. The gentleman, the owner of the dog, was texting the entire time, and this went on for maybe about a minute. This dog kept getting in Adonis's face and barking. I did the wrong thing at that time, not knowing what to do. I backed up and had Adonis follow me, so I was backing away from this dog, giving them release of our pressure and creating a draw for them. They continued to walk in front of us, bark. They never stopped. I looked at the gentleman, again texting, never stopped texting, just walked over to his dog just like so. Hey, stop bothering them, barely called him away, and then went back without ever looking up from his phone. Never apologized, never did anything. The dog continued to bark. Eventually it found another friend and it walked away. Now that was about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. That happened today, it wouldn't end so nicely. And when I say that, I don't mean I'm going to hurt the dog. I'm not going to beat the dog. I would let Adonis know that, hey, if this dog is in your face, you correct him. You tell him that's rude. Now, I don't want him to set up a fight. Do not do that. Do not let your dog correct that animal. If he is tethered and I put him in a situation where he needs to defend himself, I'm going to let him defend himself. But the main thing to remember is that you should not put your dog in that position. I will not put Adonis in a situation where he is going to be surrounded by other animals, putting pressure on him, and I'm going to keep him tied up to me where he has no release of that pressure until he bursts. That makes a very dangerous dog. Now, Adonis knows how to give pressure, he can give a correction, and he knows how to take it. If another dog bites him, say he's being rude, he gets up in another dog's face, say he's off leash, he gets in their face, they pin him down, say, hey, knock it off. He knows how to give into that. He's a smart dog. He is a dog. He's not a human. A lot of dogs in dog parks are human dogs. That's what makes them so dangerous. Another story, another example. You may hear them all the time if you look it up. Google dog park accident. There's probably going to be quite a few stories about little dogs who end up getting injured or killed by larger dogs. That's why they often have a separation between the big and little dogs, but things can still happen. Dogs jump, dogs dig over or under the fence, or they somehow just get into a scuffle. That happens. Little dogs, although they don't see size, they are physically smaller than the bigger dog, and they seem like prey. So unfortunately, I'm sorry little guys, you are at more risk than the bigger dogs for getting injured or killed in a dog park. Another con about dog parks is just the waste. People don't pick up after their dog. And I'm not saying this is for every dog park. I'm sure there are lots of really nice ones that are nicely manicured and kept up very well. But of the other ones that I have seen or walked in by myself, just checking out the area, they're very messy. They're very not very well kept. The people there are kind of rude. They think it's their own personal park, and so does their dog. They're very in their own little world. Anyway, are dog parks a good place to socialize? Well, it depends. Sometimes they can be a very good place to socialize if your dog is, a dog and understands how to give in to pressure from another dog or correct them and understand how dogs talk without too much human interference. That's okay. Personally, I don't like them for socialization because I don't know those dogs. I don't know their healthy background. A lot of times dogs will get kennel cough or other sicknesses from hanging around strange dogs that we do not know. There could be other illnesses and diseases in the ground caused from the waste from other animals. Your dog may eat some of those, may catch worms that way, may get parvo that way if they're a very young puppy. Another con about having public dog parks is people bring their young puppies there to socialize. Puppies do not need to be socializing with any other animal until they've had the end of their vaccines or they're 6 months of age, where they have developed a good immune system. Parvo is a very serious illness and many puppies catch it unnecessarily. It's a very preventable illness, a very serious illness of the intestines that can just completely destroy a young puppy's immune system. People who take their dogs to a dog park and think that the dog park and or other people or dogs are babysitters for them, not cool. People who take their dogs there to socialize with other animals when they do not understand how dogs think or the safeties of that you really need a quiet, controlled environment. If you want your dog to get to know other dogs and they've never seen another animal before, probably not the best place to go. If you want to meet new people, that's great. Maybe don't choose a dog park for that. Maybe go when you don't have a living creature to look after and control and keep in control and supervise. Go to a library, go elsewhere. Plenty of other social media sites out there, other social settings out there that would probably be better for you and safer for you and your pet, as well as other pets around you, to socialize. Now it might sound like I'm ranting, I might be going over the same points over and over again, I'm sure I am, but this is just to kind of let you know that this is what I see when I go to a dog park. I see a lot of dogs fighting unnecessarily, a lot of bullying around dogs, a lot of making dogs sensitive to certain situations and environments. There's just a lot of dangers that I see, more cons than pros, as far as dog parks go. And that does not mean that the environment itself is not clean or the people are not friendly. It's just too many dangers that I am not willing to put my own dog or any other dog I know into that situation, because I know that it can end all too quickly and totally unnecessarily. There are plenty of other alternatives to dog parks. If you do want your dog to get out and be in the nice outside world and not have to worry about other random dogs coming up and attacking you or causing trouble for you and your dog or teaching them bad lessons, because dogs are the best teachers of other dogs. That can be good or bad lessons. If you want your dog to be out and be a social little butterfly, then there's plenty of other ways you can do that. Generally speaking, that you should just be with them by yourself. Take them out different areas, take them for different walks, go on a different path, go on a hike, maybe have a friend come with you. If you want your dog to be friends with theirs, do that in a controlled, quiet environment where the two dogs can get to know each other. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't care if my dog makes friends with any other stranger dog. If I'm only going to see this dog once in our lifetime, I don't care if Adonis ever says hello. A lot of times I think it's safer if my dog never says hello to another strange dog, because he might be at risk of getting sick, catching an illness or disease, or spreading his own germs to another dog who has maybe a weakened immune system. Who knows? I don't care unless that dog is going to be living with us, dog or cat or hamster, whatever it may be. Then it doesn't really matter. My dog doesn't care to make friends with annoying dogs. I know that probably sounds selfish. I know dogs are social creatures, but Adonis seems perfectly content sleeping on my bed right now, with all of his favorite humans around and his cat friends. He doesn't know they hate him, but he loves them. In instances where I want my dog to get to know another dog, then I do that in a safe environment, a controlled environment, on neutral territory. He gets to go up and sniff when he's ready. They can come up sniff when I'm ready. We don't just force them to turn around and force a sniff or anything like that. We don't just throw them into the lion's den with all these other dogs to just put up with each other. The more dogs you get into a group, the much more dangerous and unstable it becomes. Dogs do not naturally form a pack just because you throw a bunch of random dogs together. Packs are family-oriented groups. So that will be more on another video. For right now, this is just my thought on dog parks. Final, I guess, lesson to take away from it, are they good or bad? It really just depends. I personally don't like them, so I'm going to say that they're not the best idea. I'm not going to say that it's always going to be a danger, that it is really horrible or anything like that. It depends on what you feel you want to do. If you are ready to take your dog there, your dog is up on all their vaccines and healthy and healthy body and state of mind, that's your choice. Just do your research and keep a good eye on your dog and the other dogs. Learn basic body language so you can see if a fight is going to break out, if there's a dog that you want to stay away from, if there's a fearful dog that might be intimidated by your dog or other dogs. It's not just about looking out for your own dog's safety, but your dog may become unpredictable and go after another little animal that you didn't think they would ever do. Dogs are very predictable. If you know basic body language, then you can pretty much predict what they're going to do if you're watching them closely. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you stuck through to the very end, then thank you. I do appreciate it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't go over the same thing over and over again. I hope I answered questions. Let me know if you have had any experiences in a dog park that were good or bad. What you do is your business, and hopefully it's the best intention for your dog. So thanks again for watching. I do appreciate it. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe for more of these videos as well as training videos, and until next time, stay